Hey, it's Danny Tato, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Project Hospital. This is such a nice, fun little game. You are managing a hospital, a la Theme Hospital, for those of you, the OGs that played that game back in the day. But definitely a much more cleaner, less humor-based, more realistic kind of simulation here. We showed off Doctor Mode if you're interested in that. It was in the first episode. I think a little bit of the second episode, maybe. Episode 3 here, we've turned that off. We are now going to set up our specialized clinic here, specialized department. Our first one. So we're going to do orthopedics, and we're going to set it up just like we set up any other department we set up so far. So we're going to look at the requirements here. We need an orthopedics office, we need a waiting room, and that is it. Okay, and then of course we need a doctor. So we're going to go ahead and set both of those up. I could, no, because I want my X-ray here. Set it up over here. Should be fine. All right, so we're going to pick this corner for orthopedics. I'll just do 4x4. It doesn't need to be too big. And yeah, I will set up the second one, and then we'll do our waiting room here. Just so we have it. And that's it. That's all we need. So we're going to flesh out these rooms here. We are going to change the color to blue. So I'm going to change the wall color here just so we know this is our orthopedic section. There we go. Let's change our floors. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to set up to like some of these wooden ones, and I guess we'll keep it the same because I'm going to copy these over anyways using the prefab system, which I love. All right, let's set up our door. Again, we want it to be blue. And we should be good to start putting in our equipment. All right, so we need an exam table. It's the best place to put it. All right, in the corner there works. Let's set up our medical light. We need our EMG as well. That needs a table and people sitting in two directions. You know what? I'm going to put that one a little bit later. Let's do our desk. Put it right here with the office chair, the PC, and our printer. And then we are going to, let's set up our biohazard there with our disinfectant in the corner. I tend to like to do that. This one, I'm going to put a wall-mounted equipment right here just to save space because I only want the 4x4, so we're going to have to be pretty smart about how we place everything. Let's do this right. Oops, I didn't mean to right click. Do that right there, and we're going to put our CRP scan. I might need to move this. Let's see. Okay, let's put that there, and then we're going to put our EMG here. So let's get our table down. And I think if I put it this way, it looks like that should work. Oh, we only need one stool. Oh, okay, that works. Okay, so let's just... Is it only one or two? I guess it's only one. Interesting. I thought this one... Yeah, does this need more? Yeah, so this is placed wrong. Okay. All right, let's see. There we go. That works. All right, yeah, I thought it needed two spots. So we need one stool there, and we'll put one stool there. And now it's all lit up just fine. Whiteboard, can we fit it in anywhere? Does not look like it, and that's fine. We don't have to have it. Again, if you want it, you either get a min-max the way you lay this out or go by a 4x5, 5x4, whatever. So that's all we need. Let's see what decorations we can fit. Again, we try to do the clock, put it right over his desk, and let's see if we can fit the diploma here. We did. Perfect. All right, that is fully set up. Let's do our waiting room. Again, kind of the standard practice here, and then our Q machine with the TV. And I'm not going to put, we have enough vending machines all around. We don't need more. I will put just like a, what is this, orthopedics? Let's put like a skull maybe. Let's do tennis elbow. Put a little tennis elbow poster. If these guys are sitting here for a while, they can get up and look at the poster. It will help them not feel like they're waiting quite so long. And then just to kind of get ahead of things, I should say, let's go ahead and place the prefab, move this over, And we're good to go. Maybe one more plane here. Make things kind of pretty. I don't know if it really matters. It may, but either way, I like to make things look kind of realistic if you haven't noticed. All right. Last thing we need here, we are set up with our office and our waiting room. However, we do not have any doctors. So let's set up our doctors here. We will need a chief doctor. So the question is, do we want to set up this guy who's our specialist as our chief doctor, even though he's late and has another unknown perk? Or do we want to kind of hold off on that and not set up? I'm inclined to not set it up yet. However, I'm not a fan of the perks on these other people here. So yeah, no, let's just do it. All right, we can now have a new insurance company. So let's go ahead and hit the plus sign on that. So new objective, treat one patient at any specialized department, aka orthopedics. And then we can unlock hospitalization, which I'm going to have to explain how that works a little bit later. But it's basically if you need someone to stay overnight, you set it up. But there's some quirks to that system. So that's pretty cool. So we have our clinic for orthopedics set up. And let's go ahead and do the chief doctor thing. And again, I'm going to set up the high value of certainty. And there we go. And we'll see slowly patients filter in here. Don't know where I can check the amount of patients that come in or are expected, but I believe at the beginning it's just 5. So we'll see how that goes. And kind of let things kind of keep rolling through here. I'm kind of happy with how this layout is so far. I wish I moved, and I may do it in between episodes, but I kind of want to move this bathroom and staff room over 1 tile to make this hallway 2 wide instead of 1 wide, and that would make this one 3 wide. So I may do that maybe in between episodes. I may also move it back 1 to increase this hallway here. We'll see. Let's see what kind of patients we got going on. You got pharyngitis, viral tonsillitis. Let's see what you have. Can't click you. There we go. Oh, you have Effie's foot. Oh, you must have already gone to the sampling area. Yeah, you did. So there we go. And we have 18 patients treated. I'm going to go ahead and pick up time just a little bit because there's nothing I can do here. I could set up hospitalization for emergency. Let me see. What do I get for that? All right. If I treat 20 patients, which we just did, we get 50 grand. So that's awesome. So once again, we started out at 100K with a blank slate. We had nothing built. We now have a full-fledged clinic with 1 specialization clinic, and we have $173,000. So we've only gained money, so that's really nice. So now that we have that, oops, I didn't mean to close that. If we treat 30 patients, they increase how many patients they send us from 15 up to 20, so that's cool. And then if we enable hospitalization, we can get access to the ICU. And then once we treat 1 patient in our orthopedics, we will get hospitalization for orthopedics. So we're just waiting for that to happen. I'll probably wait for that to happen, and then we'll do hospitalization. Although that may not happen. Yeah, our clinic just closed. What's nice is we didn't have any patients waiting when the clinic closed, so we didn't lose anything there. We had full prestige. That is super awesome. Should we set up hospitalization? Let's do it. All right, let's talk about hospitalization. So as we said, the clinic is for daytime, nighttime, but no one stays for extended periods, right? You come in, you get diagnosed, get your exams, get your treatment, and get out, right? If there may be a longer waiting time for something, or we want to observe someone for longer in a department, we can send them for hospitalization. So basically, it can stay longer. They tend to pay more, which is nice. But it kind of gives you a buffer. So if you have people being treated at the clinic and they're pretty quick in and out, the ones that take a little bit longer, you get a buffer where they're happier to stay in a bed. If they get a bed, fine, I can wait. So it gives you that buffer of having it's almost like an extra waiting room, right? At least early on for the emergency. So we're going to set this up, and I'm going to set it up over here. And the reason why I'm going to set it up over here is when we get ambulances, this is where they come in, and then they cart them in. So I'm going to build a trauma center over here, and then the hospitalization maybe over here. And we have this nice hallway flowing in this way as well, so we still have access to the rest of the hospital. So if someone like comes into the clinic and we're like, oh no, you need to be hospitalized, they just walk their way on over here and come to our hospital, or our the hospital section. So all right, so we need more foundation here for sure. So we're gonna spend quite a bit of money. Let's see how much we spend. We have 173 right now. Let's see what we end up at. We're definitely gonna build up here and then across here. And let's get rid of these walls right here. So this section is going to be our hospital wing for this clinic. Okay. Now with hospitalization comes a bunch of new requirements. So for hospitalization for the emergency clinic, we need an on-call room, which is basically where your doctors are stationed. Your nurse is stationed, pretty self-explanatory. An observation room is where you have just the beds and where they hang out while they're waiting. And then the trauma center. Trauma center here, we'll read the tooltip. Trauma center serves as a main entry point for critical patients delivered by ambulances and also accepts collapsed patients. So if someone is really sick, they're waiting in the waiting room, they don't get seen in time, and they pass out, they collapse, they run them over to the trauma room, stabilize them, send them to the hospital, and then get them, going from there. So trauma center, you kind of want to have it set up pretty close to this parking lot because most are going to come in through the ambulances. Some will just pass out from collapse just from being injured and not being triaged the right way. So we're gonna get rid of this entire wall right here, I think is what we're gonna do. Just open this section up, and like I said, I wanted a second x-ray. We may move it here, we may keep it here and just have a small hallway here. That should be fine. In fact, I'm just gonna prefab it and place it. It's gonna be a pretty penny, but it's fine. We like that? Yeah, that works for me. So we have our second x-ray room, and in fact, no, I'm not going to give him a tech yet because our orthopedics hasn't quite gone yet. Tomorrow I'll set up, or after tomorrow, when we can start getting our objectives here, I'll pick this up. We'll keep an eye on the capacity we have going on here, how busy they are. So, all right, back to emergency. I'm going to place our trauma centers first just so I know we have them set up. They don't need to be super big. And if I can fit 3 here, of course I can. So let's go ahead and just make it a little bit bigger. And then maybe I can put the little cleaning closet right here. In fact, let's just... Well, actually, I'll probably place a radiology cleaning closet here or like some other situation because this is all still emergency in this hospital stuff. This hospital wing, so they're still going to clean over here. In fact, I should probably hire one. I'm going to hire a night one, so they show up at what is like 9 o'clock when they show up. I don't have any specialization for nighttime. They can be slow. I don't really care. That's fine. So we'll go with the cheaper, slower person. All right, let's get focused here. All right, so we have our trauma center. Observation room, I'm going to put over here. Just make it like that. On-call room, I want it fairly central for the doctors. It doesn't need to be super big. I'm just going to do that. Nurses station needs to be a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger. Because you place stretchers in there. Stretchers are pretty important. So, all right, let us build some walls. We'll go back to the black stripe wall here. Because this is emergency. All right, got all of that placed. And then I'll probably just close this off because I am going to put a room here. So we'll just close it off for now. And let's place some doors. So for the trauma, anything higher end, so like ICUs, the things that really like dedicated time, I put a darker door. And if it's a bigger room, I put a double door. These rooms are small, but they are they're trauma, right? So it's pretty important. So I am going to make them darker doors. And we're going to kind of just offset them a little bit there. Doctor doors, what do I want here? I guess I'll do it like this. So it's kind of the same. Let's go with the lighter one. And we'll put you there, put you there. All right, so we got our doors. Oh, we need a door over here. Here I'm going to do a double door just because it tends to be stretchers that come in and out of here. And we'll put it kind of centered. And I'm realizing now that these doors have the wrong color. So there we go. All right, that is all set up. So let's start placing all of our equipment. So we're down to 139. Again, we did place the X-ray machine, so that was a big cost. But yeah, so here we go. We're going to set up our operating table. Kind of center that. Again, if you place something and it's highlighted blue, that means it has other requirements that are needed with this object, like add-ons. And if you mouse over, they highlight them on the left. So I need the operating room lights or a medical light, and then I need an anesthesia workstation. We're going to go with operating lights just to do the highest quality thing we can. And then the anesthesia station is going to go right there. And let's see what else we need. All right, we need the biohazard and the disinfectant. We'll place in the corner like I like. Defibrillator in case someone codes. I don't know. We'll put it right next to the anesthesia right there. What kind of equipment cabinet do we want? Let's just put one like this. We need a mobile workstation as well. We'll put it right by the door. We need the digital imaging. And then we need a fast USG. So we'll set that up. Oops, didn't click. There we go. And then we'll do the whiteboard. Maybe, you know, obviously there's a reason, gameplay reason for this, and that's like the differential diagnosis, I believe it's called, or the evaluation. I can't remember which one it is. It was one of those. But this is like the idea of like, okay, name of patient, symptoms, you know, age, you know, all the important stuff you need for staff coming in and out, right? Let's place our floor in here. We're gonna set up. I don't want to do the same thing. Should we just do like a bland white floor as opposed to the white tiles? Let's see what it looks like. That works. I'm okay with that. Kind of changing my mind though. Let's do the small tiles. Yeah, I like that. All right. So we've got that there. Did I make these rooms different size? If I did, that's going to bother me, but it's okay. Do we want any extra stuff? So they might get bloody in here, right? So we're going to put the hamper there so they can put the clothes in there. Let's put an info board up just because it looks good. Obviously, we need a clock. We'll put it sort of the way, since we're looking at all the instruments this way, we'll put it there. Probably not the kind of place you want to put a plant. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think that looks pretty good. And again, we could prefab this. I'm not going to, just for money concerns. Again, we're already down to 118. That's not horrible, but we got other stuff to build here. So, all right. For the doctor station, we need a couple of desks. We need some office chairs. We need our PCs. And then they tend to, I don't find the diagnosing happening a whole lot here. I'm still going to put the medium tier printer, but you probably could put the placeholder printer and be fine. Again, personal choice, right? Just in case we have a doctor who likes to study in his off time, we'll put that there and a couch. And then let's start putting our decorations. Let's put a nice, maybe, plant. Get our clock going. Let's get a diploma up. And then again, maybe like a notice board. Just so we have it. And there we go. Let's do some floors. We'll do like a nice dark wood floor because they're doctors. And they demand more, right? All right, nurse's station. We need a couple of desks again. I'll put them kind of close to the door. Let's just do them kind of maybe... like this. And like this. Let's do it like that. Put in our chairs. Put in our PCs. They don't need printers, which is nice. They do need some equipment. I like to put the wall-mounted ones over the extra spot on their desk, just to cover it. They only need one meal tray per ward, so we're just going to put one. And I'm going to put a few stretchers here. Again, this room is way bigger than we need it to be. I'm going to put it right here so it's quick to grab for them. And then like one more just offset, just so we have two in case we have a couple of patients. We'll have a couple of nurses, and that way we can move multiple patients at a time. So we'll stick with that. That should be fine. Again, you can look at the requirements. So we only need during the day 1 doctor, 1 nurse, and then 1 doctor, 1 nurse, and of course 1 stretcher. We put 2 because we're assuming we're going to grow. Just put the cost up now. Okay. Do we need flooring here? We do. I'm going to go with the lighter wood because they're nurses, so they don't get the nice darker wood that the doctors get, right? I don't know. That's probably like the way the doctors would view it. Not the way I personally view it. Please don't give me hate for that. All right, for our ward here, we need a hospital bed. I like going with the modern one. It costs more, but I like to think that it, prevents issues that would, it makes preventable issues less likely to happen, right? And the life monitor, we need, I'm going to put the advanced one, and then you need a bedside cabinet. This is where they serve their food. Once you have one place, you can see that you need 1 spot on the left and 1 spot on the right for each bed, and that helps you with the spacing, right? So I can't put this, like, unless we put it here, but I need to put the life monitor right next to it, so I can't fit it there, but I can fit it here. And again, you just kind of skip one, and we'll pause it there. We can grow and put a whole nother row here, but we'll leave it at that. We don't need to spend too much money. We're now hit below 100K, so I'm not concerned, but we don't want to overspend too early on. All right, let's finish off what we need for the beds. All right, so we can put 4 emergency patients in hospitalization now. Bed sockets, right? These provide a light. I don't know what other purpose they serve, but it does. If it's dark when you're placing these, you'll notice it lights things up a little bit. So probably just a comfort thing, but whatever. All right, defibrillator, put that on the wall. I'm gonna put our biohazard right by the door. Our disinfectant. We do need equipment. There's only, okay, there we go. So we have this one. I'm gonna put this one here, and we're gonna put the audiometer. Oops. One, there we go. And I'll put an equipment table right here, and that's where we'll put our CRP scan, the C-reactive protein scan. We need a mobile workstation. I'll put it by that bed. We do need lights. I'm just gonna go with medical lights for these guys. I'm not gonna go too far into it. And let's put a whiteboard. Put it right here. And that should be fine. Let's go with like the cleaner white tile, I mean. And then we're gonna kind of do the same floors. It's not like super creative, but it's just how we're gonna roll for now. And there we are. And I'm good with that for now. We could, again, flesh these out, but we're not going to go all the way with that, so we're fine. And we need 1 doctor both at day and night, and then 1 nurse both at day and night. So for doctors, let's do... For the daytime, I want a better doctor than the nighttime. Go here. And then for nighttime, I kind of like this guy. All right, and then for the nurses, again, kind of the same thing. Better for the day, don't care so much for the night. Oof. You're only 171. You have some pretty good stats. Who knows what this is? The missing perk, but I'm gonna go with you. And then nighttime. Oh, you have the daytime bonus, not a nighttime bonus. I feel like this one has bad perks because they're only 159, but they're level 2. And they have those 2 missing perks that we don't know about. Yeah, let's just go here. All right, and now we've opened up hospitalization for emergency. Hit a few objectives, which is great. All right, so eventually we're going to see people get placed in here if, we have some waiting time going on. So there we are. We are at the end of the shift, and therefore about to be at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and speed up time, get towards the end. We did hire a cleaning person for the nighttime, so they should go through and start cleaning. And I can set up our next cleaning closet as well pretty soon as well. All right, there we go. So we can look here at our statistics. So we had 8 idle rooms, probably a lot of the rooms I placed for hospitalization, and then 2 rooms with critical workload, which likely were 2 of these rooms here, possibly the x-ray room. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. In fact, I can probably check. Medium was the workload there. Critical, yeah. So 2 of these are critical and this one was high, which probably means I need to hire another doctor for the daytime. I'm going to go ahead and just do that now. No nighttime bonuses. Man, a lot of good doctors. It's crazy. I don't want to have another great doctor. Let's go middle of the road here. We'll take a gamble on the perks and see what we come up with here. So, all right, so another doctor. They're going to be hired, immediately leave. And you can see we have our staff for our nighttime hospitalization, which of course they're doing literally nothing but probably playing solitaire. Nope, they're watching YouTube or something. Because they have no patients to take care of. But they still work, still hang out. Our janitors here. I'm also going to take the time here to hire our daytime janitor. I'm going to hire you because you are awesome. And hopefully that should help clean things up as patients and staff are coming in and out. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the morning. Again, this speed up is not quite as fast as last time because we have staff working in the building. So it goes still pretty slow. So we'll zoom ahead here to 7 in the morning. Our next objectives here, we want to treat 30 patients per day in emergency or in the hospital in general. We'll definitely hit that today. Save a patient after collapse, that likely will not happen because we did orthopedics and just it's very rare for someone to come in with a condition where they're going to collapse early on until you enable hospitalization at this clinic. Again, if someone comes in here with a serious injury and they need to be hospitalized, they will not be hospitalized here. We need to build a separate hospitalization unit for orthopedics. And that's linked to other buildings like an operating room, other diagnostic rooms and things like that, other wards other than this one. So again, just keep that in mind. That does not open it up for everybody, only for people who come into the clinic and don't have the orthopedic situation going on. All right, 13 idle rooms at night because we don't have much going on at night for right now. We still don't open our clinic during the nighttime. It's just anyone who's hospitalized will stay here overnight. We could look at opening it up, maybe 1 doctor at night, just to pick maybe 2-3 patients up at night and lower the stress on all of our the workload in all of our clinics during the day. Shave a few patients off the list, right? Of course, I could also build a couple more, and I usually like to have 6 as a good number of doctor's offices for a pretty busy clinic, right? One thing I want to do here is build a couple more benches, just because we're going to have quite a bit of patients coming in pretty soon. Leave a space. Let's have a few there. No waiting rooms needed over here, so we're going to leave that blank. Actually, what I am going to do here is put a corridor, again, just so my emergency janitors... I didn't mean to do that. Just so my emergency janitors know that they can clean this area as well. There's a higher chance that patients will come in here, especially when trauma opens up, and they're going to be bleeding, and we're going to need to clean this up pretty good. So make sure that's there. And I'm realizing I forgot to build a second entrance over here, which I want to do definitely when you have the ambulances coming. But just to prepare ahead of time. And maybe people will use this entrance. I'm not sure if they'll walk up and use it. Probably not. But it's possible. All right. So let's see how day 3 goes here. We're already up at 3 patients. That's actually a little bit lower than I would like at this time. But that's okay. All right, we treated a patient at our orthopedics, so we unlocked hospitalization now for this clinic. When we treat 5, we should get, let's see, what do we get if we treat 5 here? Oh, $50,000, so that's going to be nice when we treat our 5th patient here. So this should be the second one we're treating. I didn't build a fancy chair for them to sit in. I may want to add that in the future. I'm realizing now that I did not do that. So Right? I think that was 3, unless I think they might have sent them off to X-ray. We still don't have a ton of people waiting for X-ray, it looks like. It looks like only 1. So I'm not going to build the staff member yet. Now we have 2, now it's back down to 1. So we're okay there. We have a ton of people here in our emergency department. I may want to consider building this out just a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see how far we can get with just 4. All right, we treated 5 patients here. We got our 50 grand, and we're back up to 136. That makes me feel a little bit better about the money. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we should have another 50K up soon. And maybe after the 30 patients per day, we get another money reward after we get this one. Or it could be the hospitalization. We'll see. But let's keep going here. Let's finish out this day. See how many patients we get done. I do want to hit 30. We're at 21 at 1,500. 25. So that was pretty quick. Jeez, 26. Kind of mesmerizing seeing everyone kind of move around and just flow through your hospital, especially when you get when it gets bigger and you got a ton of people moving all the way, everywhere. It gets pretty almost overwhelming. All right, we're at 29 and 30. There we go. All right, so now another insurance company has increased up to 20 patients per day instead of 15. And let's see if we have another money. No, we don't have another money bonus. That's pretty interesting. So we're going to have to build hospitalization at this clinic. I only have $141,000, which sucks. Again, our clinic closed, this time with 4 patients waiting. I'm a little bit annoyed I didn't open up the clinic nighttime because that would save us that problem. So we're going to do that now. It won't help us for today, but it at least will prevent that from happening in the future. So I'm just going to go to the nighttime, night shift here, and we'll take you. You're pretty good. Or we could go here. Jerry Gray? Go with you. A little bit cheaper. All right, now it's open 24/7. No new insurance companies, that's fine. And now we're open at night. So we'll have 1 doctor here and then the staff here working at hospitalization. And that's it for right now. If I'm getting patients that require x-rays, I'll add 1 at night, or patients that require some medical laboratory stuff, I'll add 1 for them at night as well. But for now, nothing. Hope he shows up. There's a weird bug I had where if you hire someone like at the end of the shift, they're there, they leave, and then when the shift starts, they don't come back. It's a weird thing. All right, we treated 35 patients per day, so a prestige bonus. Now, do we get a monetary bonus? Yes, $50,000 if we treat 40 patients. Or 38. 39? We get 40? Hey, we got it. There we go. All right, that's much better. Now we're at basically $200,000 pretty much. Excuse me. And we're gonna, our next episode here, I'm gonna put a cut in, by the way, but our next episode, we're gonna put in the ability to be hospitalized for orthopedics. We're probably gonna expand our clinic here in this area, and we're probably gonna put in an elevator and build a 2nd floor. So that should be pretty exciting. I might put the elevator over here somewhere, because this would be good if patients come in, they get to trauma, send them up somewhere, they got to go to the elevator, 2nd floor, and we'll have our other area up there for surgery and things like that. That might be what we go with, but we'll do that next episode and take a look at that. So if you're looking for hospitalization at clinics, specialized clinics, excuse me, that's what we'll do next. Look at this nice little hospital. Feeling pretty good about it. We're definitely bringing in the money and getting plenty of patients in and out, which is nice. We expected 40 patients, and we got 40 patients out, so that's really nice. So maybe I did kind of save myself building that night shift doctor. I'm not sure. We'll see. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. Again, like, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. It really does. Is appreciated by me, helps me out, lets me know what you guys want to see. So if you like it, feel like it, go for it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.